Last night I had a dream that like it was a major catastrophe where the world was taken over by. It was something that I had never seen before, but it was much like locust, but it was a beast like it wasn't locust, but it was devouring everything. And they it seemed like they either hunted or just was together, like how you would see if you just walking and you see these bunch of little flies just all together. You know what I'm saying? And you walked into them, it was just a bunch of little flies or whatever, the little fruit gnats or whatever you want to call them, but they was all together. But these things, like I said, uh, they were like locusts, but they wasn't locusts. They sounded like locusts, but they wasn't locusts. You know what I mean? And they were devouring everything, and this happened for like days. I don't know exactly how many days, but everybody that who wasn't devoured or they was misplaced. They had to hide, and when we was hiding, you had to be quiet because noise is what attracted them. You had some bigger than others, but it was the smaller ones that would like bring the bigger ones connected with the smaller ones to devour you. And what I gathered from the time, it had to be through sound because we were quiet and they couldn't find us. But it was an instance where I don't know who this was, but we had to get rid of him. And because he was, I don't know, maybe losing it from what was going on. And so it was a lot of chaos, man, and it was a lot of uh like looting as it would calm down. It was a lot of people doing evil things and taking advantage of this destruction. And I can remember it looked like honey. Like it could have been my dad or a man like my dad, but I felt like close to him. And he grew like honeycombs, like in a house or in a shed. And we had to protect these because this is what we ate. And like I said, it was still a lot of people alive, but just was misplaced. But it was a lot of people and a lot of animals was devoured by whatever these things were because of I don't know, but they were I believe it was sound that drew them. And so I can remember, like, as things progressed to where you had to be quiet till all day, all night, until after about the third or the fourth day, it started clearing up, and you started seeing people come from wherever, and people driving cars, and old trucks, and I can remember, like, towards the end of this dream, like, when it started off, it was like 4 or 5 of us, and like I say, we had to get rid of one, and I believe maybe one or two died and left us with a couple. And I can remember where when everything was clearing, people just started coming from out of nowhere, and it was a it was a black guy. I know it was a black guy. I couldn't see his face, but he called himself Window, and I flagged him down, and I asked him, I said, hey, what's going on? And he said, well, everything is clear, everything's all right. And he shook my head. He asked me was I was his family. He said, man, you look like my family. And he told me his name was Window, and I told him my name was Russell. And that was a strange name, Window. A windshield. It was something like that. But he said, like, window like the windshield, or windshield like the window. It was something like that, man. It was, but I couldn't see his face. But you know, and he came like in a huge, like, GMC, like, utility truck. To reassure us, like, everything was gonna be okay. And I woke up. I don't know. But whatever these things was, man, it was something like I never seen before. And they sound like locusts, but they wouldn't locusts. And they sort of look like locusts, but they wouldn't locusts.